Look at the whole picture, not just a little piece of the story. Step back and be the observer and look at the whole story, what's going on. You won't always know exactly everything that's going on, obviously, because time will show us as we move along how the story unfolds. But when we are in an experience, a lot of times our emotions and our anxiety and just being in the center of it can be really overwhelming. But when we take a step back and come into our spine, when we come back into our body, when we breathe and come back into our soul and realize this is just an experience, and that we can step back and observe it and look at it as a whole picture, we know that this is just part of the story, one chapter of the whole book. When we get wrapped up into something, it's like we forget, we don't have trust that everything is coming into alignment, that everything is in divine timing, that every challenge has its place, that every little thing that we encounter in our life is leading us to the next part, whether it's the challenge or the reward or whatever it is. So be mindful of how you feel when you're in an experience. Be mindful of how you react or act in an experience, and be in a more neutral state. This is not to say that you aren't going to feel strong feelings about something. Like, allow yourself to have those feelings, but also come back and observe those feelings and know that we don't need to freak out or be overwhelmed or stay in the state of fear, because that's denying us love. And love is what's going to help us get into the next step of understanding the challenges, understanding why things are unfolding this way, understanding the trauma. And then when we understand and take a step back and we see its place, we get to decide and choose how that's going to affect us for the next step of our life. So for example, if we're going through something very difficult that is very painstaking, just heart-wrenching, we have to go through that experience and feel our emotions. But then afterwards, the next chapter, we get to decide if we're going to uplift ourselves from that or if we're going to let it take us down. And so when we go through that experience, it will take us to the next piece, into the next piece, into the next piece. And so we get to choose. But my advice is, instead of being in the experience and letting it take us over, let's take a step back, see its medicine, and then allow it to take us and uplift us into the next chapter. Not to say that when we're uplifted, we're not going to have a next, challenge coming up after that. Of course we are. So find your armor, find your strength, find your alignment, find your observation position, and allow yourself to experience life without being so immersed in it. Come back and look at it as a whole story, and you will have more grace and ease as how you flow with that story.